Knicks postgame show is presented by Tri-State Audi. Visit your Tri-State area Audi dealer today. The Knicks dominate Toronto tonight. No R.J. Barrett, no Emmanuel Quickly, and the Raptors missed both of those guys. Jalen Brunson had 29, Cat 22-10. Knicks pretty much a wire-to-wire win, and they beat Toronto for the 5th straight time this year and the 13th straight time overall, 112-95. So what does it mean? Big picture. The Knicks are a lock now. They've clinched third in the East. Boston is a lock for 2. So it's going to be Celtics second, Knicks third, Cavs fourth. Atlanta beat the Cavs. They are assured of a top 6 spot. After that, it will be determined on Sunday, which is the last day of the regular season. Great to have you with us, Bill Pino, along with Wally Zerbiak. So the Knicks take care of business. We won't know until after Sunday's games, Wally, who the Knicks take on in the first round of the playoffs. It will be whoever finishes 6th overall in the Eastern Conference.
That was a good job by the Knicks. 3 good wins in a row here this week. A big one against Atlanta, big one against Boston. Then you beat Toronto, who you've dominated all season long and won 13 straight, going back for many years prior. So that was a good job by the Knicks. Now that they can kind of rest up on Sunday and get ready to see who they're going to play and start prepping, because this is what we've been waiting for. We know this team is ready for the playoffs. We're excited to see them in a playoff type atmosphere, and this place is going to be rocking.
Defense was great tonight.
Yes.
Knicks gave up only 36 points in the first half, fewest they've allowed in the first half all year. So they're up 15 at the break, and they just kept it rolling in the second half, led by 15 after 3, and it was basically over after that.
It was. And what did you say? The Raptors need this game, and there's no Quickly, no Barrett. So the Knicks were like, all right, if you don't have 2 of your top guns, then we're going to go right at you to start this game. I thought this team is really showing a lot of continuity between the bench and the starters. Everyone that's out there getting minutes is really producing at a high level. Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns playing really good basketball. Game 81 on a back-to-back. These guys got fresh legs, and that's a credit to the training staff, the coaching staff, making sure everyone has stayed healthy throughout the course of this season. This team is ready for a championship run. I firmly believe it. They're playing at a high level. Everyone's groomed and ready to go. Huck Porty there off the bench getting some minutes. This team feels a lot different than I think last year's team did going into the playoffs.
What way?
Because of the depth that this team has up and down the roster. You can play a lot of guys quality minutes, and they can make things happen on an NBA floor.
You know, your point, one of the key sequences was the early second quarter. And exactly. No Deuce McBride, no Mitchell Robinson. Right. But you got Alvarado getting minutes,
and he
made tremendous impact. He was a plus 14 in the first half.
Yep.
That bench came in the early second quarter, had a lot to do with the Raptors scoring only 15 second quarter points.
I know, and you didn't have that last year. There's no way. Starters were always playing big minutes. The bench didn't get an opportunity to make anything happen. But this bench unit is really playing with a lot of chemistry, and I like the setup with Shamet and Clarkson playing together. Alvarado hadn't played in the last couple games, but he was ready. You could see the energy he played with. You can see the pace he brings to this team. And then Huck Porty, you know he's going to hit the boards, a lot like Mitchell Robinson. When Mitchell Robinson doesn't play on back-to-backs, Huck Porty gets minutes, and he produced very well. Karl Anthony Towns, Jalen Brunson, good showing by those two guys. You know, overall, this was another good dominant win. I'm with you, though. I don't know why the Raptors, when they needed this game in the standings, they didn't look like they needed it the way they played tonight. You know, with 2 of their guys out, you know, the Knicks took care of business against a wounded Raptor team and got a good win.
All right, Jalen Brunson, you know, you look at the box score, 29 points. I hate to call it. Yeah, right.
How many rebounds, Bill?
I'm not worried about rebounds tonight.
Are you sure?
Jalen Brunson, breathe like a winner, presented by Blue Air. He led the way with 29.
All right, he had 3 rebounds, so more than last night. We love that 29 points, though. He just looks really good. I think he looks really quick, too. You know, his ankle last year, he had that ankle injury, so he missed most of the month of March coming down into the playoffs. Then he was obviously really good in the playoffs. But this year, it just looks like he's fresh, and that's a great thing. Game 81, for you to be fresh, like it's a long grind to play 81 NBA basketball games at this point in the season. To have this team look this fresh mentally and physically is a really good sign going into this playoff push.
You've been in this situation. They're going to play the Charlotte Hornets on Sunday. Game means nothing.
Right.
Maybe we see obviously Mikal Bridges will play. Who knows about the rest of the roster?
Right.
Then what happens? I mean, you've been in the scenarios where you have a week to prepare. What is a week off like for a team getting ready for the first round?
Well, you want to see who you're playing first.
But you may not know, though. Well, you will know.
You will know. Yeah, the playing,
right,
they're going to play the 6th seed.
Right.
So you're going to get a stack of, like, it used to be DVDs back in the day, but you can just watch it on an iPad now. You're going to get specific video on whatever player you're probably going to be matched up against. That's the first and foremost. You start going through that. It's individual kind of coaching and scouting on who your matchup is going to be. Then you start diving into the team concepts of how they play, all their plays, scouting them, watching film on them, along with developing an offensive game plan on how you want to attack whatever team. The extent that I remember Mike Brown and the preparation of the coaching staff getting ready for playoff series, it was like big-time homework. It was like a book report. You had to read this much, you had to watch a lot of film, and you had to really be prepared on the tendencies of each individual player that you were going to be guarding and was going to be guarding you.
Raptors can still finish 6th. Knicks would love that. Knicks have beaten the Raptors by 16.
Just don't give them any bulletin board material. Whoever they play, they play.
16,
Act
16,
like a vet.
17, 22, 27 has been the margin of victory. That's all I'm saying.
That's fair.
Meantime, Karl-Anthony Towns, 22 and 10. He was fantastic tonight. Our thrilling moment presented by FanDuel Casino. Get your thrill on.
Yeah, Towns was awesome. He loves playing against Pirtle. You know, Pirtle's a guy that he could take advantage of his foot speed. He can drive by him. Also, you know, being included in the offense and, you know, getting an opportunity to play pick and roll, kind of dissect the defense with some of his passing ability and skills. But his foot speed looked really good. And this is another guy, game 81. He's blowing by other centers. Look at the finishes here. His legs
torches
fresh.
Jakob Poeltl. Let's be honest about
him. I completely agree. That's a really tough matchup for Jakob Poeltl. But I just like how spry and athletic he looks. Look at these dunks. This is game 81. You know, Mike Brown's done a good job of managing minutes. He has a really fluid rotation. And, you know, this team is ready to rock and roll. And I am very excited for how wide open the kind of East is. The West is going to be a monster matchups, all up and down, 1 through 8. And the playoffs are going to be must-see TV in the NBA. I can't wait to be locked in.
All right, let us bring in Monica McNutt. As always, she helped call a game on the radio on ESPN New York. Monica, what did you think tonight?
That was fun. The tradition continues, at least of this season, in terms of the Knicks being able to take care of business versus the Toronto Raptors. A 5-game sweep on the season, 13 total victories. I like that you got so many different guys involved in this one, y'all. We know that the rotation has gotten tighter here late in the season, and in the playoffs, you have with the play-in, you're going to have that time off. So I thought it was valuable minutes to be shared around the roster.
I'm with you, Monica. It's amazing what a week can do as far as therapy. You know, the Knicks, the last 3 games have just looked like themselves. And there was a little panic setting in a couple weeks ago. What's this team going to be like in the playoffs? I don't know about you, Monica. This is as confident as I've felt about this team all season long. And this is a great time to feel this way when the playoffs are right on the horizon.
I definitely like some of the good things that are happening. But, Wally, I got to say, Pito, I got your back on this one. I will say, Wally, don't love the rebounding in the last couple of games.
Okay.
That's just because, to your point, like, we're running out of opportunities to tune up, right? That play-in week, sure, they'll get a couple of good practices in versus one another, but it's hard to replicate in-game energy, right? And so this team, I think we have all seen this over the course of the year. When you think of that sluggish start coming out of the All-Star break, they're a team that's about rhythm, and so they've got to tweak practices and such during the play-in week to make sure that they stay sharp in the return. But that's the only little habit that I'm like, ooh, I don't love finishing the season that way. And they have done their part to control their destiny with that 3rd seed. So who knows exactly what we'll see on Sunday night to close out the regular season.
All right, we need to point this out. If the Knicks and the Celtics each win their first-round playoff series, Knicks, Celtics, second round, Boston, Monica, the 2nd seed, the Knicks, the 3rd seed, that means Boston would have home court advantage. Yeah,
and you know what, Pito? I think you got to roll in there with the same confidence that you had last season. You got to get in rhythm in that first series and get to all of the good habits so that you can go and play your best basketball. One thing I will give Mike Brown, and he said this way earlier during the course of the season, he talked about when teams peak. And if we are sort of beginning to see the best version of this team overall, and maybe we get to the best version as the playoffs continue to progress, that is a good sign, right? Because those are the teams that he talked about going on to win with, particularly with his time with the Warriors. So if that's the case, then so be it. You want to get through that first round series sharp, healthy, and playing your best basketball if you got to roll up to the other Garden.
All right, Monica, we'll see you on Sunday's regular season finale.
Sounds good, guys.
All right, up next, the MAC 150, continuing to sort out what's what in the Eastern Conference. We've got Atlanta and Cleveland. Tell you about that. It was all Hawks tonight.